In this video, we are counting down 5 of my favorite Maison Margiela fragrances, all coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. And that's right, Maison Margiela is a underrated designer house. And we're going to talk about 5 of my favorite fragrances in a top 5 list. But if this is your first time on this channel and or you've been watching videos here, please click that subscribe button below and also click the bell icon so you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. And let's get started with the list. And as I was saying, yes, Maison Margiela is a very, very small designer house. French house, but I think the designer himself is Belgian. And a lot of people think this is a niche house. It's not your typical designer, like let's say, for example, Calvin Klein or Dior or something like that. So it's a little more under the radar, but I think the designer himself is getting pretty big. And of course, the fragrances are out there for us to consume here, us fragrance lovers. And the fragrance is actually owned by or distributed by L'Oreal. So it's L'Oreal is a big corporation, and the L'Oreal brand or company also distributes brands like Ralph Lauren, Armani, YSL is another one. Many other under its wing, but Maison Margiela is definitely under the L'Oreal group. And so the fragrances are also, as I was saying, a bit on the niche side. And I like the concept because the fragrances are all inspired by certain places and things that are done in those places. So the fragrances on this list are all at the $126 suggested retail price category. So I don't have any of the black bottles here that are higher priced, that are close to $200. So these are all $126 for 100 ml, and they're Eau De Toilette concentration. And the cool thing is, here in San Francisco, I can go find these fragrances at 3 different locations. I think it's just 3. So I can go to Barney's. Barney's sells these. I can go to Nordstrom's, Nordstrom sells these, and also I can go to Sephora, as Sephora sells these. So there's many in the collection, and as I was saying, they were all very like inspired by settings. So we're going to go ahead and get started. At number 5 is my 5th favorite of the ones I have, and that is Jazz Club. So Jazz Club, to me, out of all of them, is very, very easy to wear. Like, to me, even though it smells boozy and tobacco, I think it's very, very easy to access. Like, if you're only into the very simple designer fragrances, this is one to try. To me, it also kind of reminds me of the one by Dolce & Gabbana a little bit. So it has a similarity because Dolce & Gabbana is tobacco, and this is, I mean, the one is a tobacco scent, and this is also a tobacco with boozy rum. So it's very, very simple and easy to wear. I also get a little bit of a coconutty vibe. It just doesn't jump out at me or grab me like the other ones here on this list. So that's why I have this at 5, but don't get me wrong, I don't hate it. I have a bottle, obviously, as you can see, and it is very popular. I think this is probably the most popular in the collection from Maison Margiela. So Maison Margiela Jazz Club also was created by Alienor Massenet. So she's a very, very well-known perfumer, and I could see her kind of trademark creations here. So Jazz Club, number 5. I also want to say thank you so much for tuning in this month for the designer month sort of that I'm doing. We're focusing more on designer reviews this month than traditionally, as I focus more on niche, but this month I've switched things around a bit, so the majority of the reviews on this channel have been more designer focused, and of course here we have a French designer of Belgian roots. So at number 4, this is another very popular release from this house, but it's my 4th favorite from the 5 I have. And I think the ones that I have here, the 5 of them, are probably the most popular. And this is at the BARBER'S. So recently I did a top 15 Fougère or top 10 Fougère fragrances video. And this was actually missing, but I just recently picked it up. And it's a barbershop inspired fragrance. And it's very barbershop-y. So you've got lavender here, spices, and of course lots of herbs. And of course in the base you have the tonka bean or the coumarin, which is the trademark for that particular style of fragrance, the fougere, barbershop-y kind of fragrance. So you have to have those notes. And I think there's also supposed to be oak moss in a lot of them. I'm not sure if there's oak moss here in this at the Barber's, but it's very lovely. It's still almost as like Jazz Club, but a little better than Jazz Club to me. It doesn't grab me that much. It smells great though, don't get me wrong. So I think it's a pretty straightforward barbershop smell, and it's appropriately titled At the Barber's. So I like that about it. If you like a barbershop set and it's very easy to access and very easy to wear, and you want to, you know, go to the designers that are not so conventional or traditionally found in your basic department stores, and try this one. I think you're gonna like it. I like it, but I don't love it as much as I would love to. It just doesn't grab me as much. At the Barber's is created by Louise Turner. Now, this particular nose, I'm not too familiar with. I've never seen her name in any fragrances that I currently own, or maybe I have and I just don't remember, but her name is not as familiar as, let's say for example, Alienor Massenet, who did Jazz Club. So, at the Barber's, number 4. This next one I reviewed with my longtime collaborator here on this channel, Kara, and we both really loved it. This is Lipstick On. So this is a fragrance. I don't have a name for a perfumer or a nose behind it, but why is this number 3 and why is it better than at the Barber's or Jazz Club? Now, this one actually jumps out at me more. It grabs me more. The notes are a little stronger. They actually do something to me, and it just, that's why it's up there on the, higher on the list. And the other thing I like about this is because it reminds me of my mom's lipstick and her purse, her leather purse. That's another cool thing. And the very, very unique thing about Lipstick On is it dries down to be kind of like Fève Delicieuses. The tonka bean and the cocoa and lipstick powder, all that stuff mixed together, really, really delicious. So it starts out lipsticky, which you must like lipstick in a fragrance to enjoy this one. Then it dries down to like this really delicious tonka bean-like cozy fragrance. So good, so good. I absolutely love this one, but the next two are a little better. So this is Lipstick On by Maison Margiela, and this is number 3. So this next one is one that was created by Fabrice Pellegrin, who does fragrances for Diptyque a lot, but among other brands. And this one is fairly new to me. I recently picked it up and I wanted to have it because it's so cozy and comforting. This is Tea Escape. Love this scent, and absolutely love the way tea fragrances smell, because tea, even though it's a caffeine, same with coffee, there's this coziness to them, because you know, when you drink these drinks like coffee or tea, for example here we have tea, it actually soothes you, it relaxes you, and comforts you. So that's the kind of vibe I get when I smell this. So that's why I love it. And you know, tea fragrances is something I want to get into because I don't have too many of, and that's why I picked this one up, because I'm just trying to explore some different varieties of tea fragrances. The other thing is here, I love tea. Coffee is definitely not my number 1 drink, but tea is like really close. And there's a kind of tea called oolong tea. This actually kind of reminds me of a very nutty oolong tea. Although I also get a little bit of green tea kind of vibe too. So it's all over the place, but that nuttiness is here in a big way, and it's all about tea. So it's tea, toasted nutty, kind of a note or smell or accord in here, and just gorgeous stuff. I didn't talk about the longevity of these fragrances, but the first 2, Jazz Club and at the Barber's, I get about 6 hours. Lipstick On is about 7 hours for Eau De Toilette. That's awesome. And here with this one, going back down to about 6.5 hours for the longevity on this one. This one is a little softer, and but the smell is just really, really great. That's why it's high, because I'm rating it for the smell here with this one. And out of the 5 is definitely number 2. So number 2, Tea Escape by Maison Margiela. Last but not least, my number 1, and this is one that I reviewed, my very first Maison Margiela fragrance, and my favorite still. This smells delicious, and that is by the Fireplace. And this is created by Marie Salamagne, a very well-known perfumer. So why is this number 1? It smells like a smoky fireplace that's roasting chestnuts, but the chestnuts are not like just fresh chestnuts that you roast. like, you know, chestnuts roasting on an open fire kind of chestnuts. They're more like gourmand candied chestnuts. So you got the roasted chestnuts that are dipped into candy along with smoke, and delicious, absolutely delicious. The smoke, the fire, all of that stuff. And this one is called By the Fireplace, and I think it's appropriate because you're doing all the stuff by the fireplace, eating your, you know, candied chestnuts by the fireplace. Just a cozy scent. I think this one's really, really appropriate for fall and winter, and maybe like spring as well, but I find it to be like a fall and winter kind of scent, but delicious all the way. And at least, again, it's my favorite from the collection. Absolute love for this one. But yeah, as you can see, I've put good use to it since I reviewed it about 2 years ago. It's been almost 2 years, but it goes down pretty easily. And this one actually, again, is about a 7-hour longevity with this one, with a lot of sprays. I'm an oversprayer, but delicious. If you haven't smelled this one, it definitely is #1 from this collection. But very, very unique scent. That chestnut, candied chestnut is just delicious. There's a smokiness in there too. But anyway, By the Fireplace, created by Marie Salamagne for Maison Margiela, and that's at #1. So guys, have you tried Maison Margiela fragrances or Maison Martin Margiela fragrances? What are your favorites? Now, if I was to add more here, there's the garden one. There's a few that I haven't tried yet, like Sailing Day and Music Festival, I think it's called. There's a few there, and then there's also a couple in the black bottle that I really like as well that I don't have here. So there could be a top 10 list eventually here. The Funfair one I didn't quite like. The Beach one I did not like, but definitely these are the ones I really like from this collection. Hopefully they'll release more that are as good as these, but still, By the Fireplace is the #1 from this collection. So let me know which ones do you like from this collection. Put some comments down. Let's get a conversation started. Also, please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.